Whoa! Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Not Aspirational. I'm your host, Hannah Aaron Brown. Welcome back, everybody. How is everyone doing this week? I'm doing okay. I feel like now that Mother's Day is over, I feel like I was kind of like shit out, but in a good way, like shit out complimentary. I just kind of feel like now we can like move on from like the grief time of year and go into silly goose brat summer 2.0. Something I'm struggling with, and we're just going to dive right in, okay, friends? Something I'm struggling with right now, though, is trying to find ease in my life, and I feel like not even just as a creative. I was going to go there, but I'm going to try and make this more broad in general. I think it's just so easy as a person to feel like we're never doing enough. Like, we're spinning all these plates, and if we're like killing it at one thing, we're kind of like this other plate's about to fall, or it already has fallen. And for me as a creative person, I'm sure I've said this before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but like having all these different creative outlets, many of which are passion projects, you know, and not my actual job, and then juggling like the paid work that I also do is really fucking hard. And also trying to be just like a fulfilled, happy person who like goes for walks and takes time to rest and spends time with my husband and my friends and myself. Like, it's a lot to find enough hours in the day. And I'm trying in the past, like I would have punished myself for the fact that like I haven't updated my Substack in a few weeks, and I haven't, you know, started a Patreon for this show yet, and I haven't, you know, taken acting class in a minute, whatever. There's like always creative shit I could be doing. And I'm trying to like resist the urge to go there and like shit on myself and be like, you're not doing enough. Cause that's also just like capitalistic garbage. And we cannot punish ourselves into success, in my opinion. And instead, I'm just trying to like find ease and embrace this silly goose, laid back energy that I feel myself like really wanting to lean into. And so if you're feeling that way too, I just want to let you know you are not alone in that. And I want to invite us all to just like find ease and find fun and really like embrace the fact that like we cannot create abundance. I don't know who the fuck I think I am right now, but I genuinely believe this. We cannot create abundance from a place of like anxiety or desperation or wanting to prove something to ourselves or other people. So I made up this mantra just now that I want to share, which is success and abundance find me when I enjoy my life. Mic drop, right? Success and abundance find me when I enjoy my life. And I really do believe that. I feel like in the past, when I've been in this headspace of like, oh, where's my next opportunity coming from? Oh, I gotta create. I have to be successful. I have to make this much money. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing ever works out because you move through the world with this energy. It's like when you're single and you're like really bummed about being single, and every time you go out, you're like, are there any hot guys here? Does anyone like me? Ooh. And then the second you like are in a relationship, suddenly like people are hitting on you left, right, and center. And it's because your energy is just like, I don't really give a fuck. So I'm trying to have that I don't really give a fuck energy. It's like I care about the things I care about, but I'm not going to like white knuckle the creative process. And maybe that's very like Carol Radziwill of me, but that's where I'm at. And that's where I'm at. Also, in the vein of what I was just saying about like, and I invite you to enjoy this mantra, a quick tale. I was stretching in this room in my office last week and no one was home. And I literally, this is like, feel free to make fun of me, but it was actually really fun. I literally just like pretended I was a yoga teacher for like a solid 2 minutes. I was talking to a class of no one, a class of myself, being like, and breathe into the belly of the back of your knee. You know, they always say shit like that where it's like, I don't fully know what that means, but like, I think I know what that means. It's like, and breathe into the belly of the back of your knee and really enjoy this welcome, well-deserved hip opener. And I was teaching a class of no one. And this might be like losery to admit out loud, but it was really fun. And I found it made me enjoy the stretch even more. And I was like, I feel like that's the kind of shit we all did as kids, where like you would just be alone in the room and you'd be like alone in your bedroom and you'd be like, I am going to play school with myself. This sounds very only child. I did have an older sister, but like I've always loved being alone and like playing by myself. And I was like, in this spirit of like ease and a sense of play, don't underestimate how fucking fun it is to sometimes just act unhinged and pretend you're teaching a yoga class to no one. Like, it's actually fun. I might cut that. I probably won't. Okay, quick Mother's Day check-in. How did everyone do? I just want to let y'all know I was thinking of you yesterday. I had an okay day. I crashed out in the morning because I went to a 12-hour music festival on Saturday, which I'll get into. It was 95 degrees, and it was an exhausting day, and I'm not built for music festivals. I make an exception for just like Heaven Fest because I love the bands, but the weather really got to me. And so yesterday I was kind of frayed. I was at the end of my rope. I was really tired. So I did have a very intense crash out, like in the front half of the day. But then we got back on track in the afternoon because I took a nap and I watched the Charlie XCX documentary from like 2021. I think it's called Alone Together. I still need to finish it because I did, like I said, take a nap. I fell asleep, but it was a very nice reset. And then Jake and I went to a patio and we had some apps and wine. And then we watched Nona's, which you guys, hold on, quick tangent. I was so excited for this new movie on Netflix to come out called Nona's, because I love all things Italian culture. And it was the trailer had my favorite song in it, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant by Billy Joel. I was like, I'm fucking sold. Susan Sarandon, Vince Vaughn, all these other famous people. What's his name? Joe Manganiello, Drea Di Matteo, like all these people. And it's about this guy who like loses his mom and decides to buy a restaurant and hire like actual nonnas to like help him like open this restaurant and develop the menu. And when I tell you guys, I get nervous to speak openly and freely about these things because I do want to work in this town as an actor, writer, etc. When I tell you this movie was like painfully bad, like almost unwatchably bad, when it had all the tools to succeed. And I think part of it was direction, and I think a lot of it was the writing. You have these characters, like Italian American culture is so rich and so boisterous and open and emotional and fun. And then you add in food and you add in like good actors. Why wasn't this movie a banger? Like there were moments of comedy where I'm like, if I wrote that scene, that I would have changed this and I would have done this. And I just like want a full factory reset on the movie Nonnas. And I want it to actually be good. And also there was this one woman who was like, Nana. She said Nana. And I was like, I thought it was Nonna. And I'm like, but I'm not Italian. I just like try to play one on TV as often as I can. And then I was like, am I just dumb, or did they literally do like little to no research for this movie? And then one of the Nonnas literally looks like she's like 40. Like she's not a real old person. She's like Vince Vaughn's age, but like wearing a gray wig, being like, oh, I used to love hanging out with your mom 40 years ago. And I'm like, you guys, like don't gaslight me. That is not an old woman. And like, I just have a hard time believing that there weren't any like actual old like brilliant actors of a certain age who could have played that role of one of the Nonnas. Like, why did they cast a young person? This woman literally looked like she was like my age. And the whole movie I was watching with Jake, I was like, what does she know? She's only 10 years old. Like, it made no fucking sense. Don't put a gray wig on a person and tell me they're old. This isn't high school theater. Anyway, so watch it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, okay? So yeah, I watched Nona's, read a little bit of the book I'm reading. I've been working on Happy Place by Emily Henry for the last like month and a half, and it's embarrassing how little I've read, but I'm finally getting into it, finally. And then I went to bed. So I pretty much followed the sad girl itinerary. And then when my sister was in town, I bought myself like 50 Mother's Day gifts. I was financially reckless, and I think we need to just all, as a not aspirational community, accept that. I am paying those consequences this week. It was like I clenched my asshole looking at my bank account and I went, aye, but you know, you can't put a price on memories. And I love my new Skims pajamas. Yeah, my mother, one of my many Mother's Day gifts to myself was black Skims pajamas, and my sister got them too, and we were like matching. And after the music festival, when we got home, we put them on, and Crazy Rich Asians was on, and we just like ate food in our Skims pajamas and finished Crazy Rich Asians, and it was gorgeous. So no regrets on that. I'm going to get more into my sister's visit because there were some funny tales, but just a couple pop culture current events and also random thoughts. First of all, we have a Chicago Pope, you guys. Oh my God, we got a Chicago Pope. Pope Leo the 14th. Shout out, a man of the people. I hear he's super cool, super dope. And it is like crazy to think that like the Pope has had Portillo's before, and the Pope has probably like gotten drunk on St. Patrick's Day before. I mean, I don't really know all the steps one has to take to become a pope. So really, what the fuck do I know? But I'm like, he's probably like seen the river get dyed green before. He's probably like been to a Chicago dive bar. He's probably been like, duh, bears. And now he's the Pope. Like, that's just, I didn't even know American, I'm a dum-dum, priests, hello, cardinals, here we go, qualified like to be popes. I thought you had to be like truly Italian to be the Pope. So shows what the fuck I know, but I'm into it. Shout out to Pope Leo the 14th. He seems super dope. And you know me, I love being from Chicago. I love Chicago representation everywhere I go. I'm super excited about the Pope. As a Jewish woman, I think it's great. I think it's great news. Also, there is a new Maren Morris album out called Dreamsicle. And I mean, we're eating good in the neighborhood. It's got to be Applebee's with all this good new music out. It's really, really good. My favorite songs are the more up-tempo ones. Push Me Over and Cry in the Car are probably my two favorites. But then there's one called Holy Smoke that I also love that like makes me emotional. So good. So add that to your summer rotation. Dreamsicle, Maren Morris. Again, Lord comes out end of June. The Brat album art continues to change, so I think we're getting some new Charlie soon, and we love to see it. Okay, next pop culture thing that I want to touch on is Lexi Wood of Summer House fame was on the Viall Files. I'm so fucking sick of Nick Viall's smug ass, and I know I've said that before, but I will never not say it. Like, how does he get every interview? And I'm not saying Lexi Wood is like the apex of the interviews he's gotten, like, but like, why did he get the first interview with Gypsy Rose? You know what I mean? It's like, why? Like, why does this man get to mansplain every pop culture happening to me? He annoys me. But Lexi Wood was on his show, and there's been a lot of discourse on the internet about this like Jessie, Lexi, Sierra love triangle. And I will say, I saw the photo of Sierra and Jessie over Coachella, and I was like, that's fucking rude, you guys. Like, it was kind of pick-me behavior on Sierra's part, in my opinion, where I'm like, you knew what you were doing when you posted that photo. It's kind of a fuck you to Lexi. Now, a lot of very valid arguments have been made where it's like, Sierra didn't owe Lexi shit. But I will say, like, are we all gonna, like, act like Jessie is, like, some prize as a friend or as a lover? And again, I don't know this man personally. I know I tend to trigger the Summer House men, so I'm going to keep talking about it. I don't know what this man brings to the table apart from like a giant mouth and being vertically gifted. I really don't. Like, I wouldn't be willing to get in conflict with anyone over this man, but again, what do I know? Sierra is top of the top, gorgeous, amazing. The amount of attention she gives these mediocre men on Bravo, I want her to like go date like Joe Manganiello or someone just like insanely fucking hot. Did I think I would say Joe Manganiello twice in the first 14 minutes of this podcast episode? No, but here we are. I just want her to date like a real man, like a real celebrity who's just like so rich, so hot, so like on her level. And Jessie does not deserve like a hot Coachella picture with her. So I've been sort of like feeling out this whole situation. Like at times I felt bad for Lexi, and then at times I felt bad for Sierra. At no point have I felt bad for Jessie, but this interview with Lexi I found irksome on the Viall Files. First of all, she says adult, like adult. She's like, and we're all adults, and we're all consenting adults. And I don't know why that grates on me, but it does. And I do think Jessie like royally fucked her over, but I don't know. I really feel like if I'm going to talk about this, I need to have a firmer stance on it. I'm not trying to be like Switzerland. I just like don't fully know how I feel about her at this point. Because there are times where I feel like she's kind of said just enough to be incendiary and to like start some shit. And to kind of be like, I was just a victim in all of this, when at the end of the day, it's like, yes, Lexi, you are all adults, and you chose to take this guy back like 50 million times over when he was a dum-dum. And to be fair, she did say in the interview, like, there were some red flags that I ignored. I probably forgave him one too many times. And like, we've all been there, you know, but I'm interested to see like if she does come back, what her next season would look like. Also, when Lexi was on Watch What Happens Live with Tinx, she fucking hates Tinx's ass. I've never seen so much. I'm not like a huge Watch What Happens Live person, so this might hold no weight when I say this, but I've never seen two Watch What Happens Live guests clearly just like not fuck with each other. Mainly Lexi not fucking with Tinx. I think Tinx was very much doing this like Miss America, like, in my book, and ooh, I'm just a Bravo super fan and I love Kelly Dodd and Ramona. Very much like in like PR friendly, and I'm using a floppy air quote there because like it wasn't PR friendly to be like, I just love Ramona and Kelly Dodd. But she was very much in like promo, like book mode, like, you know, kind of high on her own supply. Lexi has never looked hotter than she did on Watch What Happens Live. She was giving like Britney Spears in that like lace mini dress. But the way she side-eyed Tinx, I was like, ooh, I would not want to be on Lexi's bad side. I got to be honest with you. And people were like, people were asking why. And it's because in my theory is, tinfoil hat, my theory is that Tinx has been like open about the fact that she's like DM'd Jesse in the past because she thought that he was hot and he didn't seem into it. And now she's kind of like in his comment section, like bantering with him and West, which is giving like pick me girl. And so like I could obviously see why Lexi would be like, I do not want to like sit in this chair next to this woman who's a self-proclaimed girl's girl. Meanwhile, like being a pick me for West and Jesse in the comments and pretend that we're friends. Cause like, fuck that. So that's my theory, is that Lexi knew that Tinx was like all up on Jesse and West nuts, mostly Jesse's nuts via social media. And Lexi was like, eye roll, that's annoying. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think anyone who says, I'm really not trying to be messy, it just happens naturally for me. But I just think when you say, I'm a girl's girl, I'm a girl's girl, I'm a girl's girl, it's like the equivalent of like a straight man that's like, I have a giant dick. Or like, I fuck so many people. It's like, if you do those things, or if you have those things, or if you are those things, you don't need to talk about it. You can just be about it. So like, I'm side-eyeing Tinx a little bit, is all I'm saying. Is all I'm saying. Anyways, sorry, didn't mean to get messy, but here we are. Okay, another thing, and also fuck Nick Viall. Another thing, this is totally random, has nothing to do with pop culture. It was just a thought that I had today while I was making my lunch for some ungodly reason. Because I'm a good person and I didn't deserve to have this thought pop into my head. Is there anything more disgusting than a straight man doing yoga? Like, I just think about like how much they sweat and they're in their tank top and their shorts and they're like slip sliding around their sweaty mat. And then when they arch and they close their eyes, it's like when Simon Van Kempen got that massage on Real Housewives of New York, like season 1. He's like, oh my God, I feel so hot. That's what it's like watching a straight man do yoga. And I haven't taken a yoga class in God knows how long, because while I do like to pretend that I'm a yoga teacher when I'm alone in my office, I find yoga to be a little slow and boring for my taste. I always wished I were a hot girl who loved yoga, but it's just not really my journey. So I don't know why this popped into my head, but I do remember when I used to like try and force myself to be a yoga girl, when I would see a straight man doing yoga, I just said, ew. I said, not up in here, not up in here. No. Speaking of yoga and wellness, follow the bouncing ball with me. Raquel, aka Rachel Leviss. Rachel Leviss or Leviss? I don't know. We're all adults here. Let's just try and roll with it. Rachel from Vanderpump Rules is now like a wellness girly, and she does sound baths. And I saw this TikTok where someone had gotten a cameo from Rachel for their friend as a Mother's Day gift. And she was like, hello, happy Mother's Day. I know that you are an amazing mom, and I just wanted to offer this sound bath. And she proceeds to lead this like gorgeous 5-minute sound bath. I was watching this TikTok, literally like my eyelids were getting heavy. I was like about to fall asleep. And I was like, it's like, fuck, it's genius. Like, why didn't I think of that? Do you know that TikTok sound? Fuck, it's genius. I really never put together that Rachel would be so good at this like wellness healing, like sound bath journey. But it actually makes so much sense because she has this sort of like ethereal, like floaty, airy kind of energy that I think really makes sense for a sound bath journey. And is it, a rebrand that is like almost so obvious that's why we couldn't have anticipated it? Yes. But she was good at leading that sound bath. And I was like, if there was like, if I was going for a hot girl walk and I saw a flyer that was like Rachel Leviss is going to lead a sound bath in your neighborhood, $10 admission, I would be there. I want to go. I'm going to say it here on my show where it's a safe space. I would like to go to a Rachel sound bath. I want to experience it. And I've never actually gone to a sound bath before. I don't want to lie to you, but I don't think I have. And it made me really want to like find one. And I'm like, I live in LA. I feel like I could like throw a nickel and like stumble upon a sound bath. So I want to explore that, but I really want to go to one with Rachel. Speaking of Vanderpump Rules, on the Valley after show, Jax continues to crash out and be unhinged because when is he not? But he talks about how he got caught, quote, shifting his junk in public. And everyone was like, why was he grabbing his dick in public? And he's like, it was a shift. It was a shift. I was shifting it. Every man in the world, he loves to say that. Every man in the world has to shift sometimes. And then he says that he barely ever wears underwear. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sound from Everything Iconic. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on that. A grown man who never wears underwear, and especially in those tight ass jeans that he always wears. He's never wearing underwear? Like, ow. What? Why? Wear underwear. And if a woman wants to go, like a woman or a non-binary person or a gay man wants to go commando, fine. Again, I just have a bias against straight men. Like, I think most of the stuff they do is pretty disgusting. But like, no underwear with his swampy balls shifting his junk in public, forget it. Again, I'm a good person. I don't deserve that image in my head. And yet here we are because I continue to subject myself to Bravo. Speaking of, a summer project that Jake and I decided on over the weekend is that we are going to watch The Leftovers, an HBO show from like 2016, 2015 that Jake never saw. And I was really into the first 2 seasons and then I dropped off. If you've never heard of it, it stars Justin Theroux, Carrie Coon, Liv Tyler, and a bunch of other people I'm definitely forgetting. But like the cast is beyond talented, like an insane group of actors. And basically the opening episode, no spoilers, kind of like is like a rapture type moment where like a certain percentage of the Earth's population just like randomly disappears. And so people are like, was it the rapture? Was it not? What the fuck happened? And so it's like the fallout of that in this small town. And so Jake wants to watch it. So I'm like, I love the notion of like a summer project where it's like, we are going to binge this show together, like leave our phones in the other room and watch like 2 episodes a night. And so I'm excited to have that like easy breezy, fun summer project. And if you've never seen The Leftovers, I highly recommend it. It's dense. It is not a phone show, okay? But it is a great show. Okay. Recapping my sister's visit. It was so fun. She was here Monday through Sunday yesterday because I'm recording on Monday. And it was a blast. She stayed with me and so much happened. The first day she got there was my mom's anniversary, which is also Cinco de Mayo. So it's the anniversary of my mom's passing. So we were like, let's get some margaritas and some Mexican food. My mom loved tequila and margaritas. So we were like, let's honor her and go to our favorite Mexican place. And we saw a balloon like floating, like Richard, Dorinda's passed away husband in Real Housewives of New York, like right in front of our table. A balloon was just floating there. And we were like, Richard. And I seriously think my mom, she gave us just a series of like weird, laugh-worthy events throughout the week, starting with that balloon. And mind you, my sister had accidentally spilled on me and I like had a mentee be about it. It's fine. I'm not like, in the words of Hoobastank, like I'm not a perfect person. But that balloon really got us lolling. Then we went shopping at the Americana another day, which was really, really fun. And again, I'm not always in a position to like go shopping, but I was this last week. So it was just so fun to like go shopping at the mall with my sister and feel like Cher Horowitz with like all my bags. And I got some really cute stuff and it was really fun. But something terrible happened to me. Something traumatic. Okay. And that is that my sister and I were at Aloe together. And I wasn't really like fancying anything, but my sister wanted to try on some things. And as she goes into the fitting room, I go, My My stomach starts growling. I'm making my Tyler Henry noise. I almost had diarrhea in Aloe. I'm not kidding, you guys. I'm not fucking kidding. And I'm like asking the like hot Aloe employee, I'm like, you guys have a bathroom here? As like blood is like dripping out of my ear. And she's like, no, you're going to have to go to, or no, she just goes, no, sorry. And I was like, do you know where the closest bathroom is? And she's like, yeah, you know where the Apple store is? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, it's in the, like under the escalators in the lobby by the Apple store, there's bathrooms. And so I'm like texting my sister, but I have no service. I'm like, I have to go immediately. My asshole's about to explode in Aloe. So I like power walk, diarrhea strut to the bathrooms under the escalators near the Apple store. And I did make it, but I was like, shitting in public generally is not my favorite thing. I really prefer to be in my own chamber for that. But diarrhea in public is undignified. It's like hospital naked levels of undignified. And I was just sitting there. I was like praying I would get enough service so that my sister would know I didn't just abandon her at Aloe. And it eventually was fine. But I'm sorry that I bring up my shit like once a week. But really, like I've seen a lot of things. I've survived a lot of shit. That might be the scariest thing. Shitting at an Aloe, shitting at a bougie mall, any mall really, in public really, but like the Americana, if you've never been, it's very similar to the Grove. It's just in Glendale instead of West Hollywood in LA. It's like the Disneyland of malls. It's like so big. There's so many stores, so many designer stores, lots of fancy people, lots of tourists. If I had shit like running down my leg at the Americana, I think I would just fling myself into Glendale Boulevard and just end it right then and there. So God, nothing happened. Then we went to Just Like Heaven Fest Saturday, which I go every year, as I've said. And Alex and I decided, my sister and I decided this year that we were going to spring for the Clubhouse tickets, which are like the most premium tickets you can get. And given that it's a one-day festival, they're fucking expensive. I was absolutely on a payment plan for my ticket, okay? But they're like, there's an air-conditioned area with Wi-Fi. There's nice air-conditioned bathrooms. There's private areas closer to the stage. And there's unlimited food and drinks, which is really what sold us. We were like, okay, well, if you spend like $20 every time you get a beer or like $6 every time you get a water, this is going to pay for itself in like 2 seconds. No, it didn't. It didn't pay for itself in 2 seconds because it was a fucking Firefest nightmare. And when I saw that the weather was going to be 98 degrees, where's Nick Lachey, okay? 98 degrees in Pasadena. I was like, okay, that's not ideal, but like bitching about the weather and being like, oh my God, it's so hot, like does not interest me. It's like, okay, yes, and what else? You know, I was like, it is what it is. We got these tickets months ago. The previous years I've gone to Just Like Heaven, the weather has just been like perfect. So it was really easy to enjoy myself. But I was like, okay, this poses a bit of a challenge, but we have these premium tickets. It will probably be a gorgeous day, right? Wrong. First impression is, I'm sorry if I sound like a Karen. First impression of this was there was like a long line. And the whole thing was like, Clubhouse tickets gets its own exclusive entrance closer to the venue. And the line was so long. And there was like 1 or 2 people like scanning tickets. So that's not on them, but like it was just such a narrow area for a lot of people. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's not feeling very premium. Then we make our way to the Clubhouse, which is like a golf clubhouse, okay? And there's some bars in there and whatever. But like halfway through the day, it's like 100 degrees. And so there's like a million people and there's like cans everywhere and people are like sitting on the floor and it's just a fucking shit show, which like there's only so much that the venue could control. But what really got me was that, okay, with the Clubhouse wristband, you're supposed to get unlimited drinks, okay? The Clubhouse, where you get those unlimited drinks, is across the way from the VIP area, which is where you want to be to actually see the bands. And in between, there's like a huge swath of general admission, like lawn space, okay? So every time I wanted to get a drink, I had to make the trek from where the stage was all the way back to the Clubhouse because they didn't have Clubhouse-specific drinks closer to the stage, if that makes sense. So in 100-degree weather, making this trek over and over was sending me into madness. And I was like, I went into the day being like, oh my God, it's fine. It is what it is. It's a little bit hot. So what? Who cares? Chic c'est la vie. No, I lost it. I was exhausted. I was at the end of my rapidly fraying rope. And I said, how the fuck are you going to sell these tickets for an exorbitant, a disgusting amount of money? And that's on me. I shouldn't have spent it. Okay. That's my karma. And then make it like more convenient for the people who are willing to invest the most in this experience. It just doesn't make sense to me. I was like, why wasn't there a clubhouse bar in the VIP area? It just made no sense to me. Okay. But the highlight of the day was that there was a Bath and Body Works claw machine, like an activation. And I love a claw machine. I'm like weirdly good at them. So I was thrilled. And I did, in fact, win some body mist. And so did my sister. And shout out to the gal who was running that because she was like, go for that one. She was like trying to help people win. And I can't explain how rewarding it was to win Bath and Body Works body mist as an adult, because body mist, both the Bath and Body Works ones and the Victoria's Secret ones, were designed to make us feel hot when we were like 7th graders. You know, like as a millennial woman, you remember the feeling of being like, I'm going to get this body mist and it's going to make me the hottest person ever. I'm going to smell so sexy. And you're like, 13. And I was an awkward, unattractive child. So the body mist wasn't really doing much for me. I was very much a late bloomer. So it's cool to now have a bottle of Bath and Body Works body mist that I can spritz and be like, I am a hot woman now, and I can finally feel hot using this scent in a way that I didn't get to when I was 13. It was like a full circle inner child healing moment. And even though the heat was a nightmare and the clubhouse tickets were absolutely not worth the money, do not be bamboozled if you ever go to Just Like Heaven Fest. Just do VIP. Do not do clubhouse, okay? It was still a gorgeous day. And seeing my favorite bands of the day were Group Love. They were awesome. Block Party, amazing. And then Rilo Kiley, which like, I'm not generally like a Rilo Kiley head. My sister is, but they were so fucking good. And Jenny Lewis, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Troop Beverly Hills. So seeing Jenny Lewis live was really cool. And she's just a twee queen. And seeing a band having so much fun together and so like deeply in their element was just so inspiring and really awesome. And yeah, throughout the week, my mom sent us so many jokes. And my mom actually told me this before she passed away, because I was very open and honest with her about being like, you can't appear for me after you die. It's going to scare me. And she's like, no, I'll just like play tricks on you and make you laugh. And I was like, okay, sounds good. She, between the Richard balloon, and then us winning the Bath and Body Works mists, one of the one my sister bought was the scent, because they picked the scent for you. My sister won the scent Sweet Pea, which was one of the Bath and Body Works scents that my mom always had at her house. She always had the Sweet Pea lotion like in our kitchen or bathroom. So that was something for my mom for sure. Then at Just Like Heaven Fest, I got a free double margarita. Again, she loved margaritas and tequila. And they were like, our system is broken. So they were like, we just won't charge you for this one. So I got a free double margarita, Just Like Heaven. Thanks, Mom. She sent us like 1 million hummingbirds throughout the week, which is how she shows up for me. So we just kept seeing hummingbirds. And then in a 24-hour period, we got 3 DoorDash orders of fried chicken that weren't for us. 2 of them were intended for someone named Terry, and one of them was intended for someone named Jimmy. And I felt for them. I tried to call the restaurants and be like, is there anything we can do? I feel so bad we have this person's food, but we couldn't get a hold of the restaurant. So prayers for Terry and Jimmy. I hope they got their fried chicken. But when I tell you, it was such a blessing that my mom sent us fried chicken from the other side that we could enjoy when we got back from Just Like Heaven Fest and we were hungry. We had some Popeyes chicken nuggets or like chicken bites to enjoy. It was truly a blessing. It was truly a blessing. And given that it was such a significant week for my mom between like Mother's Day and her anniversary, and she knew that we were together, she just sent us so many little treats and little laughs. And then also my grandma, who does not know how to use FaceTime, accidentally FaceTimed me when I was with my sister. And I was like, oh my God, Grandma, you figured out how to use FaceTime? That's amazing. Like, Alex is in town. I was actually hoping we could see you and talk to you, because I was going to try and FaceTime her, but I was like, I don't know if she's going to know how to pick up. And she was like, Hannah, I don't even know what I just pressed. I don't even know how I just called you. And then we had this like really nice like 25-minute conversation with my grandma, like me, my sister, and my grandma. And I was like, that was definitely my mom just being a silly goose and being like, I think you girlies should talk this week. And we had such a fun conversation. So it ended up being a really good week. And This week, I feel like I'm kind of playing catch up, after you like go on a trip or you have someone fun in town, you're like, oh shit, now I have to get caught up on life. And that's also why this episode's a bit all over the place. So I apologize, but it was a great visit and we'll be back on track next week with more of a structured episode. And we do have more guests in the works. So stay tuned for that. I'm closing out the episode with grow up. So I have two. One of them is, okay, I saw a TikTok about the infamous Jesse Solomon toe sucking fiasco. And this creator was like, how are we supposed to not believe that something happened when Jesse Solomon, walked into a room with 3 naked people right after they had sex? And I watched this video and I was like, whoa, ho, ho, I'm going to stop you right there. Whoa, ho, ho. That's my Matthew McConaughey impression. All this time, all this season, anytime they talked about that toe-sucking incident and Jesse Solomon going into that room, I just imagined that they had had sex like an hour ago, and at this point they were all just like lounging in like boxers and sweatpants and hoodies, just like shooting the shit and like talking. And Jesse put his toe in her mouth, and I was like, wow, so disrespectful. At no point did I fucking clock that these were all adults who had just had sex and they were probably all just like in there naked. Not one time. And I know I talk about how like in my 20s when I was unhinged, I had a hoe phase. That is true. But at the end of the day, I am a very late bloomer and a deeply naive person. I didn't think once about it, you guys. I'm not proud of that. So to myself, I say, Hannah, grow up. Of course they were naked in that room. Duh, silly goose. But then someone in my comments shamed me for not losing my virginity until I was 22. And to that person, I also say grow up. Because it's like, are we really going to shame an adult for like when they decided to like lose their virginity? Like, are we 14? Are we 12? And like, sorry that I wanted to lose my virginity to my first serious boyfriend. And because I was a late bloomer, it took me a really long time to meet my first serious boyfriend. And sorry that I didn't want to lose my virginity to some random guy at ISU who didn't even know how to finger a woman properly. Okay? So to myself and to anyone shaming anyone about their virginity, I say, grow up. Okay, next one. And this one's controversial. Saying bless you when people sneeze, grow up. I don't think we need to do it. I think it's unnecessary. It's like, we don't need to, people sneeze. It's a bodily function. Why do we have to make such a production out of it? It's already overstimulating when someone sneezes, like especially people who sneeze really loudly and they're like, and it like, it's like, whoa, I'm overstimulated by the fact that you just sneezed. I'm overstimulated when I sneeze. I don't like sneezing. So now I have to speak. I have to be like, oh, bless you. I have to act like it's like a big deal that you just sneezed. It's a bodily function. Like, grow up. We all have enough going on. Why do we need to say bless you? We're all busy. We have enough going on. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to speak. And whether you're a stranger or you're a close loved one, I have to stop what I'm doing to say bless you. I don't think so. I think grow up and just sneeze. And it's okay if no one says bless you. And it's okay if someone sneezes and you don't feel like saying bless you. Grow up. Okay, everyone. That's all I got for you today. And is this, my best work? Probably not, but they can't all be hits. If you love the show, send it to a friend. Leave it a rating and a review. Follow me on everything at Hannah Aaron Brown. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all for your reviews. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness and your love. And I love y'all, and I will see you next week. Bye.